Right, welcome back everyone to a new term and to the exercise and health physiology module. So what we're going to do today is really look to kind of start again really. Some of you will have attended lots of sessions last year and some of you will have done lots of the online work, others less so. So really this is an opportunity to kind of start from the start and then set out a plan for how we're going to complete our assessment to be submitted in March this year. So really this is a reintroduction to the assessment and to some extent a reintroduction to the module as a whole. Right, so if we just have a look at kind of what we're going to do now post Christmas, so what we're going to do for the rest of this year. I'm not going to go through each and every session that we're going to do, but I will go through them in chunks. And the first thing I want you to do is to look at here and realise the titles of these different lectures and seminars, and notice the ones that are in red and the ones that are in black. Now I've highlighted the ones in red because these are all directly related to your assessment. So most of the sessions, so all but 5 of the sessions, are all related to your assessment in one way or another. Now, some of them are going to slightly alter based on the changes that have been enforced through, the government restrictions, but that's still going to remain the case. So even if you've not engaged too much to this point, the next month, 5 weeks, you can see every single thing that gets posted is going to be there to help you to understand more about the area or to help you write your assessment itself. So you need to turn on and engage with everything that goes on over the next few weeks. Now if we just go through some of the sort of changes and what's happened since Christmas. So the lectures essentially are going to remain exactly the same as they did before. So if you remember, like last year, on a Thursday or Friday I would post the lecture and then you would access that at your own time over the coming week. That's not going to change. So these lectures are going to keep being posted as they were and you just access them as you see fit. Now last year the seminars were run in 2 forms. We had face-to-face teaching for those that could attend, and then we also posted kind of an alternative online version to sort of try to ensure that people had a sense of what was going on in the labs. And I think I'd sort of like point you towards the first seminar, which was an assessment help one, so the PCOS one is a really good one to go back and look at if you've not done so far. And then also the final 2 posts, so seminar 4 and 5, because they were specifically about the procedures and protocols we use for the assessment, so you should look back and have a look at them. So the way that's going to change, at least for the first few weeks of term, is obviously we're completely online now. So what I'm going to do is either post a task, maybe a quiz, possibly a video, something like that for you to do, usually prior to an online seminar session. Now the seminar sessions are going to run at exactly the same time as the live ones did. So if you were at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning, that will still remain the same. However, the changes are that it will now be online, so it will be organised through Microsoft Teams, and you should get sent a link to that each week. And then also, it's only going to run for an hour. And the idea of those sessions are that they're to supplement the work that's sent. So say the task or the reading activity or whatever it might be. So it's not there to do a full teaching session for 2 hours. It's there to discuss, maybe ask questions about the specific task that I've set you. So that's how they're going to run. So essentially, each one of your seminar sessions, make sure you turn up to them. It's only going to be the first hour, and ideally come having done the task, watch the video, whatever it might be, and preferably having some questions to ask as well. Now, if we just break down these sessions a little bit further, so if we look over the next, so this is this session here, so assessment health, formative and summative assessment, which we're going to go and get onto in a minute. I'm going to post later the first task, so the first seminar task, which is going to be to to fill in a quiz, which is going to assess your kind of current knowledge of what's required from you for the assessment, and we're going to use that as a starting point to discuss the assessment more broadly in the seminar sessions that are going to start next week. So that's this week. After this week from the lectures, the next 4 are essentially looking at each one of the conditions that you may choose to look at for your assessment. So lectures 12 through to 15 are all related to your assessment, because you're going to choose one of these 4 diseases to study. With regards to the seminars, these are going to change slightly because we're not going to do any more data collection. The data collection's finished now, we can't really do any more. So these are going to change, but they're going to still relate to your assessment. We've then got 2 weeks where we're looking at interesting but things that are not related to your assessment, and then the weeks following that you're going to be before your main summative assessment, there are going to be some more sessions about how to actually write and produce a better report. So as you can see, really important that you switch on this term, even if you've not done last term, because most of what we're going to do is there to help you do better with your work. So the assessment itself, this is a recap. So if you look back at lecture 1, this is the same information. So the assessment, the title of the assessment is The Influence of Disease on Cardiorespiratory Fitness. It's my title, not your title. You should find a very specific title for your particular study that you're going to look at. But that is the title of the assessment for the module. It is one piece of coursework worth 100% of your module grade, so it needs your full attention. It's a 2,000 word journal style report, and it must be submitted in the Dropbox before Friday the 26th of March at 5 p.m. Now, to go through that sort of step-by-step process of what you need to be thinking about in order to complete your assessment, the first thing to do is to choose the disease that you're interested in. So to choose your case profile, if you like. So who are you interested in? Are you interested in heart failure, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, post chemoradiotherapy but prior to intra-abdominal surgery, or an obese population? And that is entirely up to you. I'll give you no hints or tips about what to do. It's just whatever you think's interesting, see fit. What will help you make those decisions is going to be the lectures on these particular issues. You may find some more interesting and more useful than others. So what I'm going to do because of that is, rather than, I'm going to release these on the now, week by week, in the order that they've been set. But I'm going to also release them all on YouTube over the next week, so that you can access them in your time when you sort of see fit and you want to kind of make this decision. So hopefully by the end of the week you'll be able to access the videos, so the lectures about each one of these diseases, such that you can watch them and make a decision very soon which one you want to study. And I'll get on to how you can access the ones on YouTube a little bit later in this session. So first step, choose your disease. The second step, and so once you've chosen your disease, you're going to find that these diseases, the sort of results from the exercise tests, are available on the now. And I'm going to do a subsequent video to show you how you can sort of access these and what you might want to do with them. But the main thing is, in the next week I'll release all the populations data so that you can start to access it and sort of see what you've got, if you like. Then the next step was to collect control group data from you guys, because if you remember, this is a case control study design. The cases, so the people of interest, are going to be your disease, and you're going to control and compare them against one another, so healthy individuals, if you like. And we've already done this, so we're not going to do any more data collection, because we were ideally going to finish it off in this first set of labs, but we're not able to do that. So what we're going to do is, I will make those data available in the next week also. So I'm going to collate several different groups together, such that you can then go and find these results and start accessing your control group data. So by the end of the week, you're going to be able to go on the now, find the population that you're interested in, go and access their exercise data, find the control group relevant to you, access their exercise data, so that you've then got all the data that you require to complete your assessment. So if you think about it, that's quite a big step. So if you've got all the data that you need and you've already decided what you're going to study, well, really then it's over to you, it's in your hands. So if you've got the data, if you know what you're going to study, it means you can start to write an introduction. if you've got the data, then it means, and you know how you collected the data, which obviously there's some stuff online to help you with that, then you can write your methods. And if you've got the data, then you can do your analysis through Excel and through sort of SPSS, which means you can do your results. And if you've got your results, it means you can write your discussion. So by the end of this week, next week I should say, you're going to be able to start your report. So there's nothing really going to be holding you back at that point. Now, later on in the term, we're going to be talking a little bit about stats, so that might help you a little bit more. But you could still start to move forward with pretty much any of it you want to from this point onwards, which I think is a great thing, because it pretty much means that you're going to have the best part of 3 months to conduct this piece of work. So, you know, we're no longer collecting data, so it's all about you just organising yourself and writing this piece of work. Now, the additional thing that I wanted to talk to you about was a formative assessment. So the formative assessment is just here to help. You do not have to do it. It's entirely up to you. So what the formative assessment is a piece of assessment where you get provided with feedback to help you kind of do better and improve, but you don't get a grade and it doesn't contribute to your overall mark. So what this is this year is that you can submit to me an introduction to your work, and I'll provide you feedback on that such that you can improve it before you do your final submission. Now, the deadline for that formative assessment is 5 p.m. Friday the 26th of Feb. I would strongly encourage you all to submit a good version of your introduction by this point. It's kind of a free hit to be able to kind of improve your work. That said, if you submit terrible work to me just because you've rushed it and shoved something through, the feedback that you're going to get is going to be terrible, because it's not going to be relevant to the the standard that you can do. I'll be telling you things that you already know, like this is a rushed piece of work, this is incomplete, stuff like that. So you need to make sure that you've done a good draft of an introduction that you are going to be interested in knowing the feedback from, so that you can improve. So you should all take up this opportunity. It will help you get better grades. Right, and then finally, last thing to say is about this. I've mentioned YouTube before, so because they're now as useful as it is for posting lots of different forms of media, so like videos, papers, submitting, assessments, all of that. It's a really good piece of software. It's not the best for being able to kind of easily see and access the videos themselves, particularly because we've been asked to post them week by week. So what I've done is I've set up a YouTube page which is specifically for this module, so NTU Sport Science, Exercise and Health Physiology, and I'm only going to post things on here that are relevant to your assessment. So I'm not posting everything here, like every single lecture that you've had in the past. I'm choosing the ones that I think are going to be most likely, like you get the biggest bang for your bucks, if you like the ones that you might want to watch if you've not seen any others. And the reason I've done it through YouTube is because it allows me to set them up as playlists that might be a little bit more intuitive. So the 4 playlists that I've started off with are these ones. So the first one is assessment help. So this is going to be things that aren't directly related to kind of understanding the physiology of the physiology of the sort of diseases underlying the assessment, but it's just going to be like, how can you do better in assessments, how can you write better, how might you want to present your results, things like that. And so there's one up there now which has been gathered from one of the seminar sessions, which is about PCOS, which is all about just how can you write better. The second playlist is about measuring oxygen uptake and protocols. So this is just going to be helping you understand what we did in the lab. So there's nothing new here at the moment. It's just stuff that's either been a lecture or a seminar or a different video, but I've just organised it so that if you don't really know what we did in the labs because you weren't able to attend, these are going to be the ones that you're going to want to watch to have a greater understanding, and I'll supplement these with some extra ones at a later date. The next one is the impact of disease on oxygen uptake. So this is going to be where you can find the lectures about those different diseases. So those 4 different diseases, so COPD, heart failure, post chemoradiotherapy, prior to intra-abdominal surgery, and then obesity. So they're going to be here. And like I said, so you can access this now, so you can access 3 of them now. I'm still finishing one of them off. And then finally, the 4 over here are oxygen uptake in health. So this is the underlying physiology that underpins the whole assessment and will help you understand the difference between what's happening in health and what's happening with disease. So they're from some of the lectures and maybe one seminar from early on in the module. So I may add different playlists. I've kind of got an idea for a playlist that I might create over the next couple of weeks, but the whole point of this is that it's just to do with assessment, and it's only going to be the videos that are posted, so it won't be links to kind of any Word documents or anything like that. It's just so you can access these things and see them more in a format that might be more intuitive to help you do your assessment better. So this is the link to my page, which is completely open at the moment, so you can just go and find these things, and what I'll do is I will send that link to you in an email over the coming days so that you can start to get on with this. So what I would do if this was me is, if I've been sort of keeping fairly up to date with the module and I'm just waiting to go, the thing I would do first is go and look at those videos about the impact of disease and oxygen uptake and try and see whether one of them catches my interest more, so that I can make a decision that that's what I want to study. Because once you know that, then all you need to go and do is start accessing the files with the results from the exercise tests, and then you can really start to make a start with your assessment. Okay, so finally, as always, make sure you try and enjoy this, and you can contact me, and we can use these sessions where we're speaking through Teams for you to kind of ask me questions or tell me things that you don't think are working. It's a kind of a good format really, because that was quite difficult in the lab sessions. So try and enjoy it, and if you're not and you're not getting something from it, then let me know. This is my office and my telephone number. It's probably going to be relevant to you, but that is my email address as well if you need to get in contact if something's not working. But one of the best ways, if you do have questions as well, is if you remember, we have these now discussion pages where you can post things on there, and people have been pretty good at doing that so far, and I'll try and reply to those questions on there, which means everybody has access to the answers. So that's it for now. I'm really looking forward to seeing you all in the online sessions. Please do come trying to get engaged with it, ideally with questions, so that it makes it easy for me to know where you're at, and we can kind of push on over the next few months and get some really good results for your assessment.